Hey everybody, so my name's Susan and I'm here to tell you a little bit about how to make some real chocolate. Today we're going to be using some of our amazing ingredients from here at Vivapura, and to begin with I just want to tell you a little bit about our chocolate. We get it from Ecuador for an amazing source, which is one of only two really truly raw cacao sources in the whole world. And what's better about our sauce is that it's Ariba Nacional, which gives this amazing combination of flavours, and it's one of the most exquisite chocolates on the planet. So if you want to make a really amazing chocolate, you want to start with the finest ingredients. And I'm really lucky because I've got access to, like I say, Ariba Nacional chocolate from Ecuador. Here we have some cacao paste. And this is going to be the main component of this chocolate. The cacao paste is raw and organic. It's also stone ground, so it's coming from a super raw source. You can see in the bag that it's big chunks, and what we're going to need to do is start to think about melting that down so we can make a really great chocolate bar. But when you make a chocolate bar, you actually need to combine this paste with a little bit of oil, and this is going to give you that really amazing snap and shine to the chocolate. It's also going to help combine in any sweeteners that you might want to add or any oil, and today we're actually going to be making an orange chocolate, so you're going to be able to see how to combine oils in there so you can get a really great taste. So we're going to take the paste, we're going to take a little bit of oil, and I talked a little bit about a sweetener as well, and I'll show you that in a minute. But first of all, the oil that you need to add is our cacao butter, which comes from the same source, and this is such a nice oil. It's so rich and buttery and smooth and creamy, and it brings out this really nice snap and this really nice shine. So we're going to be adding a little bit of that too. And last of all, I've chosen my sweetener today is going to be this really raw honey. I choose this one because again it's really smooth and creamy, and that's how I really like my chocolate. You can actually see inside, I like this one because you get a little bit of the pollen and the propolis on top, which is really nice just to eat, just like that. But underneath that layer is this really rich and smooth creamy honey, and we're going to combine that in with the chocolate products to make an amazing huge chocolate bar. And then I'd just like to mention before we go into making it, I'm going to add some orange oil, because today's chocolate is going to be a chocolate orange, or what me and my man Steve like to call blood orange chocolate. So this recipe that I'm about to show you comes from our in-house stone grinder, who is a total chocolate alchemist, and he taught me how to do this. But I want to show you how easy and simple it is to do this yourself at home, because so many people are scared about using cacao paste. It's actually not that difficult at all, and he taught me himself, so I'm going to pass this on to you now. Okay, so we've just measured out 7 ounces of paste. A lot of people don't realise that paste is actually a whole food. It's the bean, the cacao bean, ground down into a paste. And there's nothing defatted, nothing taken away, nothing added. It's pure chocolate. So we're going to need to obviously melt this down to make our chocolate bar. We've also measured out here 1.6 ounces of the butter. Now this is the fat that's been taken out of the bean. So they've defatted that bean, and this is what you're left with. It's the butter. So when you get your Vivapura cacao butter, you're going to find that it's in huge big chunks, and they kind of look like this. And we're going to cut this down a little bit to make it easier to melt, and I'll show you that bit in a minute. Okay, so we're going to add the cacao paste now into a bowl which is over some hot water, and it's at a very low temperature. And all we're going to do now is just try and melt this down. So it's going to take a little bit of time, so you can go off and watch some YouTubes. And while it's melting down, you do want to keep an eye on it and make sure that the temperature does not go too high, because we want to keep this raw, obviously. So you want to think about the cacao, both the cacaos, the butter and the paste, never going over about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you who are watching in the UK, that's about 40 degrees, 42 degrees Celsius. So this should be pretty easy to watch. You just come back and forth and have a look, give it a little stir up. It does take quite a while to melt down, so don't worry about leaving the hob on or anything like that. The really nice thing as well about this is that we're actually combining cacao paste with cacao butter from the same variety. So they're both Ariba Nacional. You're going to get those flavours combining really well together. Sometimes you use one paste from one part of the world, one cacao butter from another part of the world. It doesn't go very well together, and it doesn't really make sense to me either. So we're just going to leave this melting down, and we've got a handy thermometer, so every now and again we're going to come back and check it and make sure that it's setting no higher than 107. So right now I'm just going to show you so you can see. This is now at 79. Okay, so just a little note on, whilst the cacao's melting down, on tempering. Some people are a little bit scared of the word tempering. I know I was. And some of you will be like, what on earth is tempering? So, tempering means that you're bringing the cacao into a place where it feels really, really happy. Essentially what we're trying to do is allow it all to click into place. If your cacao doesn't click into place whilst you're melting it down, then it'll come out with lots of patches, or it'll be really rubbery, or it won't have this nice shine on it, it won't have a nice snap to it. So what we do when we're tempering is we're working with temperature. And like I said, you don't want to let your cacao go up to over 107 degrees Fahrenheit. But you also don't want to bring it down to freezing. You want to bring it up and down in temperature around about the next three temperatures that I'm going to tell you. So what we'll first do is take it up to 107, and it will all melt. It will be like liquid. We're then going to bring it down in temperature. You can do this by taking it off the heat, off the bowl of hot water. And it usually should go down to about 91 degrees Fahrenheit, which those of you who are listening in the UK is 30 degrees Celsius. I'm looking at my notes because I find Celsius and Fahrenheit a complete like woo. So we're going down to 91, and then we're going to bring it back up in temperature. When we bring it back up in temperature, this is where everything really starts to open up. So it's difficult to actually verbalize what goes on, and you'll see what I mean when you're working with the cacao. But opening it up brings out the flavour, and again helps it all sit into place. It's a little bit like a honeycomb. So that when you put it into the refrigerator, or if you're in a super hurry in the freezer, but I don't recommend that for the best chocolate ever, but if you're dying to have it, you can set it in the freezer. It'll all set together, perfect alignment, and it'll look super shiny, it'll have a great snap, and it'll taste amazing. So that's what I'm going to do over the next couple of minutes. I'm going to take it up and down in temperature, making sure that it's perfect. So before we start the tempering process, I'm just going to add the honey. This means that it's all going to combine together really well. If you try and melt the honey at the end, then it's going to be like big blobs inside your chocolate. So really up to you as to how much sweetener you add. I like to add about 2 teaspoons. So there's one. Beautiful. It smells amazing. I wish we had smell-o-vision, and then you'd be able to smell the chocolate and the honey. And this is another one. There we go. So that's 2. Okay, so I've been standing here for a while, just tempering the chocolate, and now we have this beautiful, pure liquid chocolate, and the honey's in there too, combining in nicely, and it's been really nice just spending some time with the chocolate, getting to know my little friend that's going to make me feel all bubbly later. And just now, before we bring it back down in temperature, I'm going to add the orange oil, and I just want to make sure that you all know that this is food grade orange oil. You don't want to be adding anything else apart from that. I got this one from Mountain Rose Herbs. It's organic, citrus sinensis. So I'm adding between 5 and 10 drops. Yeah, that should do it. I think that was about 8. And I'm also going to add a little bit of Celtic salt, and that's really important. It helps balance the flavours out and draw out the sweetness. As you can see, we didn't add that much honey today because I like to keep it nice and simple. So if you're not much of a dark chocolate fan, then you might want to add a little bit more honey. But I find that just by adding a pinch or 2 of salt, it depends on your taste, that will actually balance all the flavours out, and it works really, really well. I like Celtic salt too. So yeah, this is now just coming down in temperature, and we're nearly there. We're nearly finished. So the chocolate is ready to be poured into the mould. Super important, make sure you dry the bottom of the bowl. You don't want to get any water in the chocolate, it will completely spoil it. And I'm just going to pour it now into this super massive mould, which is the biggest mould in the world. It's actually just a Tupperware box, but I did it this way so you can see how easy it is and how simple it is. You don't need to have any of these fancy moulds. So let's get as much as we can. And then the best thing to do now is give the mould a little shake, get a little tap, make sure that it's got rid of all the bubbles, and stick it in the fridge. Hi everyone, so I'm just back from a 2-hour walk, which is the perfect thing to do whilst your chocolate's setting, because it means when you get home you've got a bar of chocolate to eat. So I've just taken it out of the refrigerator and it's looking pretty good. The sign of a great temper is that it should literally just pop out of the mould, and it has already popped out of the mould, so I'm just going to turn it upside down on the worktop. Hopefully it's not going to smash. And there you go. Shiny, shiny. And I can smell the orange coming off it. It's amazing. I'm actually just going to pick this up so you can see the shine. You see the shine? Woo! So we've obviously made ours using orange oil, but you can add anything you like, and we've got some amazing products at Vivapura, and one of the best things you could add to a chocolate like this would be our jarabe pollen. You could also add some nuts and seeds to make like a barky kind of consistency. You could add some fruits. You could add anything at all. You could also add something slightly more medicinal, like medicinal mushrooms. You could add reishi. You could add some spirulina crunchies to make it an algae chocolate. The possibilities are completely endless. So I'm going to get on with eating my chocolate bar now, so I'll see you again soon, and good luck. No excuses, you can make your own chocolate now using our paste and our butter. So see you soon, bye!